Hi, welcome to my video on finding the slope of a line using the slope formula. In the previous video we derived the slope formula. Now I'm going to do many examples to show you how to work out the slope using the slope formula. Step 1, assign x1, y1 and x2, y2 to the 2 points. Write the slope formula down as m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Substitute the x and y values into the formula and simplify. Simplify, that is, no negative in the denominator, and reduce your fraction if possible. Let's do some examples. Find the slope of a line to each pair of points. So x1, y1, x2, y2. The slope is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. That's the slope formula. y2 is a 4, so put a 4 in, minus y1 is a 3, so put 3. x2 is a 5, minus x1 is a 1. Notice that minus there is right there, and that minus right there is there. And we're putting the coordinates in around those negatives. Subtraction signs. 4 minus 3 is 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. Notice that this set of ordered pairs here is the same as this one. Because students often ask me, well, which one should be x1, y1, and which one should be x2, y2? Well, I'm going to rearrange them differently and label them differently. But I always go, this one is x1, y1, that's x2, y2, that's the first and that's the second. Keeps it simple. But let's reverse it and see what happens. Let's use the same formula, y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. And here we go. y2 is 3. Subtract. y1 is 4. x2 is 1, subtract, x1 is 5, and simplify. 3 minus 4 is negative 1, 1 minus 5 is negative 4, and a negative over negative is positive. So it makes no difference which one you name x1, y1, x2, y2, they'll come out to give you the same slopes anyway. So I always do. Let's do another one. I always go, this is the first point, this is x1, y1. That's the second point, that's x2, y2. Slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And remember, the slope is rise over run. So that means you have the y's over the x's. So we keep it in mind. Draw a line. y2 is a 5. Subtract. y1 is 2. x2 is negative 3. Subtraction sign. And x1 is negative 1. Now we simplify. 5 subtract 2 is 3. Double negative becomes a positive. So negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. And negative never stays on the bottom. I always go negative 3 over 2. Because a positive over negative is the same as a negative over positive. But in terms of fractions, always put the negative on the top in the numerator. D, x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Draw your line. y2 is negative 6. Subtract. y1 is 0. x2 is negative 2. Subtract. x1, which is negative 3. And we simplify the numerator and denominator. Negative 6 subtract 0 is negative 6. Double negative becomes a positive. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. And a negative 6 divided by 1 is just negative 6. E, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Notice I'm writing it down every time, so I won't make an error. Y2 is a 0. Subtract. Y1 is 4. X2 is a 2. Subtract. X1 is a 2. And 0 subtract 4 is negative 4. Negative 2 subtract 2 is 0. Division by 0 is impossible. So the slope is undefined. Division by 0 is undefined. That means that if you look at it, just in terms of a graph, now I'm just going very quickly, 2, 4 is right there, and 2, 0 is there. Guess what? That's a vertical line. The vertical line is an undefined slope. x1, y1, x2, y2, and m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and y2 is negative 1. Subtract. Y1 is negative 1. x2 is negative 3. Subtract. x1 is 1. Simplify the numerator. Double negative is a positive. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Negative 3 subtract 1 is negative 4. And that 0 divided by negative 4 is 0. Or we just could put down a 0 for that. Put a 0 or instead of writing out 0. So that's some practice on working out the slope formula when you're given 2 points. Notice when you have 2 points, you do not have to do the graph. To draw the grid and do this correctly might take time, so it's easy to use the slope formula. Now, this is a practice sheet, and with me, practice means pause the video, work out the answers, and play it back to see if you're right. And do one at a time to make sure your slope is going okay, slope formula. So here I go. Do one at a time and check them out. x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope formula, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And y2 is negative 2. Subtract. y1 is 4. x2 is 6. Subtract. x1 is negative 3. And that gives me negative 2 subtract 4 is negative 6. Double negative is a positive, so we get 9. And 3 goes into 6 twice. 3 goes into 3, 9. And we got a negative, stays in the numerator. Number 2, x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope formula, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And y2 is 5. Subtract. Negative 1. x2 is negative 4. Subtract 4. And that works out to be double negative is a positive. 5 and 1 is 6. Negative 4 subtract 4 is negative 8. And that they're even. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And the negative goes in the numerator. Number 3, x1, y1, x2, y2, slope formula, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. I know it that much, so easy because I keep writing it down all the time, so I never forget it. y2 is a 0, subtract, y1 is a 2, x2 is negative 5, subtract, y1 is a 0. So that gives negative 2 on the top, negative 5 on the bottom, and a negative over negative is positive, so it becomes 2/5. Again, practice makes perfect. The more practice you do, the better you get. x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope is and I write it down. X2 minus X1, sub in. Y2 is 13. Y1 is a negative, you've got to subtract negative 7. X2 is 9, subtract. X1 is negative 6. And double negative is a positive, so that's 20 on top. Double negative on the bottom is positive, so that's a 15. And 20 over 15, 5 is a common factor. 5 into 20 goes 4, 5 into 15 goes 3. Remember, reducing fractions when you're graphing makes it easier to graph. I wouldn't want to, on a graph, to go up 20 and to the right 15. I would rather go up 4 and right 3. And multiple times doing that will give you the same spot as if you did it once, but keep the numbers small. Number 5, x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. y2 is negative 3. Subtract. y1 is 3. x2, negative 4. Subtract. Negative 4. And negative 3 subtract 3 is negative 6. Double negative is positive. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And you're dividing by 0, so we have an undefined slope, which means those two lines are vertical. Those 2 points form a vertical line. x1, y1, x2, y2. And getting back to number 5, if you drew your graph, you could check that it's just a quick, just rough estimate. Just watch. So you have x is negative 4 and y is 3. So let's just pretend. There it is, like that. And then you got x is negative 4 and y is negative 3 down here. So you can see you have a vertical line. And here we go. Do this one. y2 minus y1. x2 minus x1. Negative 22. Subtract the negative 8. And 15 is x2. Subtract negative 6. Double negative is a positive. 22 subtract 8 is negative 22 is 14 and is negative. And a double negative is a positive, so that gives us 21. And 14 and 21 have a 7, so 7 into 14 goes 2. 7 into 21 goes 3 and is negative. x1, y1, x2, y2. And easy to, just over and over and over. Math is just practice, practice, practice. y2 is negative 16. Subtract negative 1. x2 is negative 4. Subtract 1. And that gives us double negative is a positive. That's a negative 15. Negative 4 subtract 1 is negative 5. Remember, it's a negative 4, add on negative 1. But if you get used to it, it's easy. And you get positive 3. 3 over 1 is 3. And the last one, x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And the slope, y2 is 15 and y1 is 15, and you get x2 is a 20 minus 80, which is x1, and that gives us 0 over negative 60, and that's a 0. So the slope of that line is 0. So that brings us to the end of this video. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect. I hope you did well. Hope you understand how to do the slope of a line when you're given the coordinates of the 2 points. If you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you can subscribe. Click my notification bell because more videos are coming. Write a comment on my video if you wish. And visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com. in 3 sections. One on me, my degrees and teaching experience. Second section is on about the videos, talks about the strategy you're going to use to help you learn your math. And the content section has the units and the number of videos on those units that I'm going to have on my YouTube channel. Black font is what's online right now, and the red font is what will be there in the near future. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Bye-bye.